Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of probably part of your job specifically.
It is my job.
Yeah,
Get
but
to hang out with everybody.
yeah, you get to hang
Yeah,
out with us
I
and
got
with
to
the
hang
guys.
out with you a lot.
yeah,
That was fun.
yeah. He come up every now and then to see me.
Yeah.
Yeah, or he'd come down there and see me and ask about his computer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah. I
still
miss
does. We
those
called you the
moments.
other day, Dr. Ed. You're like, oh, I got somebody working on my computer or your
Yeah,
phone or something.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's technology, look, when I was in school, when I was in college, we had what do you call those machines where you'd stick it in there and it'd bring it in, then it'd send it, fax machines
yeah, fax machine,
and and electric typewriters. That was it.
electric typewriters.
That was the
And that was
technology.
big. That was big pimping in those days, wasn't it?
If you had an electric typewriter, you were somebody.
Look, hey, I remember Nana and Pawpaw. They had, you remember that? You remember the old white Cadillac they had,
Uh, I do remember that.
and it had a
But golly,
phone.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, they had that phone in the console.
They had that.
Yeah, they had the bag. You like they unzipped it.
Wow,
You like unzipped it or like unfolded it. I can't
I
remember.
never knew that about.
Yeah, but they had the phone. It was like in the floor. I was like, I thought it was the coolest thing. You
It
know,
was.
but that two-door Cadillac, white one.
I do remember that.
Yeah, had that red. I don't know, not suede material. I don't know what it was, but like that ripple effect. Yeah. I used to get, and me and Major used to lean the seats all the way back and just WWE in that Cadillac, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Tear that thing up. You could take the headrest all the way off,
What color was the interior?
It was red. About
Oh,
the color of your shirt, Dr. Ed.
oh wow,
Yeah.
that's a pimping
Slick.
Yeah, it
mobile.
was
Yeah.
pimping, dude. The two-door. And those doors were about 12 foot long, you know? So
Yeah,
Papa was pimping and going golfing, you know what I mean?
you didn't just close the door; you had to walk it.
You had a wall, yeah. You couldn't reach out and grab it, dude. You had to have a pole to reach out and grab that thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why that just I thought about that. So obviously you work up here at the Foundry, Dr. M.
hmm
So what kind of got you in the recovery scene, man?
Me getting recovery myself.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And what kind of pushed you to that point of like, hey, I got to get help, or I might die, or I might go to prison? Like, what was kind of that point?
Well, it had gotten to where I didn't have any more options. I had to get some help because I just couldn't see me going any further down than I had gone. I'd lost everything, jobs, homes, family.
Yeah. Did was there? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, when did you know it was like? I know you say you have no options, but sometimes not acting is an option, right? When we were like, hey, I have like either I'm going to die or I have to act. Like, do you know at any point?
I don't know if I ever considered that I might die. I just know that I knew life was not going to get any better than what it was. And at that point, it was hell.
Yeah. How old were you when you kind of got to that point?
I probably was like 50.
50.
I didn't really start. I drank a lot in college. When I graduated, I quit. Got married. But I started. This is the weirdest thing, and I'll make it quick.
No, dude, you can make it like
This is y'all's time. Look, I didn't really start using opiates and stuff like that. Well, wait a minute. I was 38 I guess I was 38 when I started using. But you know what the thing was that caught me, that got me moving in that direction was when I was in college. I was a freshman. I had my wisdom teeth taken out, and the doctor prescribed me Percocet, and I liked those.
Mm-hmm.
And I never, over the years to come, never forgot how that felt. That was always a haunting kind of thing in the back of my brain. And I might be driving down the highway or whatever, and I would think, I want some more of that.
Yeah.
So I started working on the psych unit in the hospital and became friends with some psychiatrists, and it's all history from there.
Yeah.
They were free. I hit mine writing script.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
So you had some people doing that. How would
People,
so you're just I guess that thought in the back of your head when you started working there. I mean, probably not knocking on your age, but probably back in those days, it's probably a little bit easier to
oh yeah,
get narcotics
than
to you
nowadays for
than
sure.
nowadays for sure. Um, I mean, I guess back then was the stigma attached, or like was people like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm prescribing somebody Percocets because you know how like when you prescribe somebody, it goes through all these chains,
Hmm.
and you can look at it, over the nation and everything. But was it just kind of they looked at narcotics, opiates, I guess particularly like I don't know, Advil or any else blood pressure medicine? They
Hmm.
kind of looked at it like that.
And they gave that like candy.
Why? But I guess I mean obviously you can see the opioid epidemic. But when did that? Were you around the point when that started to shift and were like, hey, maybe we need to dial this back a little bit?
Towards the end, I noticed it wasn't quite as easy to get what I wanted, prescriptions and things of that nature. Yeah, it would have been, I don't know. I guess I was getting close, maybe 48, 49. I started noticing it. So for 20 years, it was open.
Dang. And you were using it. I mean, it was day to day use.
I, most of the time, um, most of the time was day to day. You go through these times where you couldn't find anything. Wasn't on the streets. Doctors wasn't available to you for whatever reason.
It's
So
dry.
Yeah.
It's just dry.
dry is a good word. Yeah. So you spend a week going through withdrawals. Wake up one day, you felt better, and then you had more energy then to go look for more drugs.
Yeah. So heroin wasn't really big back in those days.
I didn't really hear about it a lot. I knew it was there. I knew it was available, but it wasn't talked about like it was just a few years ago before fentanyl came in.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy. Nowadays, looking back then. But so, how did you started using? Obviously day to day, and it just progressively, your life just progressively started getting worse, and you needed more, and started losing things.
Yeah, you know how it is with opiates. You can't stay with what you got and continue to get the same result.
Hmm.
So you have to keep adding more and more and more. Each dose you had to take more,
Yeah.
and
Were you doing fentanyl? Or were you like,
no, I that wasn't around.
so I didn't know if IV. Did you do IV or
No, I did oral
oral? I
unless
got you.
unless I had some kind of procedure done.
Yeah, I
Then I
got you.
said, "Give me fentanyl, please, doc."
Please give me. I'm allergic to everything else but fentanyl.
Right? Yeah, I didn't think about that. I should have said that.
Yeah, I'm allergic to everything but fentanyl. And Ativan. you know. So, but no. So, where did you? So you got to that point in your life, Dr. M, that you needed. There's no other options, as you put it. Where did you get sober at?
I got sober at the Foundry.
At the Foundry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of quit using as many opiates just because they were getting harder and harder to find and more difficult to pay for
Yeah.
because the price was astronomical by then. But so that's when I started hitting really hard on alcohol, and alcohol became a real issue in my life, more
Yeah.
so than opiates or any other drug, opiates, weed, whatever,
Yeah.
because it was just right as it was at the grocery store,
Yeah.
and you could buy a bunch of it for a lot less than you could get a little bit of the drug on the street.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What was your question again?
No, so I was asking you like where you got sober at the found,
I got I got sober. I didn't get sober until I came to the Foundry. That's right.
and when was that?
And in 2012.
2012.
Mm-hmm.
So shoot, you was that 13 years?
Uh-huh.
13. When's your sobriety date?
Uh, I don't know.
You don't know. Cool. But
No.
it'll be 13 years this year and everything. So when you went through the Foundry, did you continue working for the Foundry?
Yeah, I started working in a warehouse at one of their thrift stores with the thought in the back of my mind that I'd eventually do what I was trained to do.
Yeah.
Not necessarily addiction, but all forms of counseling and
Yeah.
psychotherapy and stuff. And it just worked out to where a position came open up here at the farm, and I jumped on it, and I've been up here since 2016.
2016.
Yeah, I love what I do. I love the guys I work with. I love the guys that are in the program. It's just an environment that you really can't put into words. You just got to live it.
Yeah.
It's just a connection that we have that nobody else in the world can have.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we know that nobody else can know. It's something we understand that nobody else, unless they're an addict or alcoholic, can
Yeah.
understand.
That's
It's just
something is special about the Foundry. It is a sense of brotherhood or just the culture attached to the Foundry is that you're not going into it necessarily clinical. Because I don't know about you, I've been to a bunch of clinical different settings, and it's very
I've been there.
quote unquote sterile in that fact of, and here I know it's encompassing of that. Through spiritual, through relationships, through even, I mean, they do clinical side of things, but it's more of an encompassing effort at recovery rather than, say cognitive behavior. I'm not saying this don't work. Obviously, I think it's very important, but like cognitive behavior therapy or like, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z, you'll be sober. Well, if that was the case, then there would be no need for any other realms of recovery if that's the de facto work. But I think what I really think the Foundry does right is kind of blending all those aspects together,
Hmm.
the best that works for this culture and everything. And but why, so I say that to ask this question: why do you think not only has the Foundry been successful in my life coming through this program, and I know Chase's, but why do you think the Foundry was, I guess, the cornerstone or the foundation of your recovery journey?
Um, well, I grew up in a family who went to church and had relationships with God. And obviously, when I was doing what I was doing, I didn't have that relationship with God. So when I came to the Foundry after being here a couple of months or so, maybe longer, that started happening again for me. I started reading the Bible, praying, hanging out with other guys who were similar to me,
Mm-hmm.
and God, once we're one of His, He never leaves us.
Mm-hmm.
But I had left Him, so I started uh, moving towards God again. And the longer I was there, the closer I got. And then eventually it became just a part of who I am again.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a homecoming experience for me.
Yeah.
It was a very touching, real spiritual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I say something?
yeah. You say whatever you
I
want.
don't know about. Well, I'll just talk about the farm. One thing I do know about what we do here, and in Bessemer too, is that we focus on that personal relationship. And I have heard I've heard it said maybe 20, 25 times since I've been here people say when they come down the road and they come in the gates, they say, when you get here, you know God's here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something. It's serene and quiet, peaceful. You can get in touch with your feelings and your relationship with God, and you can grow. And one day you wake up and you say, "Man, things are so much different today than they were 60 days ago."
Mm-hmm.
And it's because God works with the Foundry, because the Foundry works with God.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing.
I'm pretty sure I'm one of the ones that said that.
You may have been.
Because,
I can very easily hear you say that.
yeah. I know whenever I came, and I didn't know it was a 6-month program until I was pulling up pretty much.
Uh huh.
But, or we had hit, what's that road right there by the,
278.
yeah, but, well, 278, but we hit, where the, why can't I think of it? Dang
Which
it.
direction were you going in?
Well, no, we went to the thrift store at 1st.
Mhm.
So, like, we pulled up there, and I was like, well, this doesn't look like a farm. and,
Not at all.
and then I'm sitting there talking on the phone with, it might have been my dad or somebody, and I was like, yeah, I'll be back in, like, a month or something. And, like, I just remember my mom was like, we need to talk. We need to talk. And I, like, as soon as I was like, oh, let me talk to you soon. And then that's when I found out. And I mean, I was mad.
I bet.
I was mad. And because I was sitting in detox and I was reading about it.
Mhm.
And I don't know where my, how you're detoxing, you're just imagining stuff, I guess. I was just hallucinating, I guess, reading the pamphlet about the farm. So, yeah, whenever I found out it was 6 months or living here, but I remember coming down the road, hitting that little chicken farm right there, and we passed through the gates, and everybody's at the store, so there wasn't really anybody, but I did have a sense of peace that kind of overwhelmed me in a way, and I knew everything was going to be all right, and got out of the car, went to talk with Jeff at the time, and then that was it. And I was here.
I remember when you came in, and I remember when you came in as well. I couldn't give you a date, but I remember my first encounter with you guys. You probably don't, but I do. Yeah.
I was rough coming in, Dr. Ed.
You're still rough, but we love you the same.
That's the truth. I was feeling some type of way coming up here, man. Rough. Still on that detox off that Suboxone. You know how that is.
Yeah, I do. I came off of methadone a couple of times.
Yeah, that's rough.
You know,
I say that's the roughest of them all.
I said I'll never do methadone again. That was a lie straight from the pits of hell. Because I did, and I went through the same thing again.
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely. Yeah, but I wanted to talk about something. I know you're saying what you're professionally educated in. Do you mind talking about any of that stuff?
No, not at all.
Yeah. So basically, what is your? I want to say degrees or like what are you trained in basically?
Well, I had a bachelor's degree, or have a bachelor's degree in sociology, and you don't do much with a bachelor's degree in sociology.
So teach sociology in high school, maybe.
Yeah, right. So after several years, my wife and I decided we would find a place for me to get more education. So we moved to Fort Worth, Texas, and I started a master's degree, and I finished up with a master's degree in marriage and family counseling. And then I did the same. I went to Arizona and worked for 5 or 6 years, and in the field, and came back to Texas. And for the next 4 years, I worked on a PhD in clinical psychology. I mean, in counseling psychology.
I got you.
Yeah.
So you transitioned when you got your PhD. You went into. So you were in Birmingham at this time.
When I got my PhD,
Yeah.
no, I was in Fort Worth.
Oh, so you're still in Fort Worth. So you practiced in Fort Worth, and then you came back to Birmingham. Were you still practice when you got back to Birmingham?
Did I practice here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah.
I got you. That's crazy though, and I'm not saying this as any like I guess your educational prowess in counseling, and then how addiction takes a hold of you still.
It don't matter who you are.
And I know that's the crazy thing. It's
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter what educational or socioeconomic what you have. How it gets a hold of you, because you know everything. Like, oh, I know that if I do this, this, and this, then I might become addicted to this. And you see, how many lives did you see people's of wrecked by addiction?
I don't know. Can I say this?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not so much about what you have that determines if you've been an addict or not, but I think it's more about who you are. And I think most of us who are addicts or alcoholics are different from other people.
Yeah,
I can't scientifically prove that. No, I don't think anybody can. I don't think they will ever be able to do that. But it's just a sense of knowing that I'm not like this person. I can't go drink a beer and be okay, or at least I can't go do that and not be risking
yeah,
my life again. I just think in our minds and in our brains and the way we think and feel, and maybe events that occurred to us when we were coming up, all has a part in playing who will and will not be an addict or
yeah,
alcoholic.
absolutely.
Well, I think too, it's one of those where people think, because there's a lot of people out there right now that don't think they have an addiction problem, and they do.
Well,
It's the people like, well, I only have a glass of wine every day, but it's only a glass,
that's all.
or but then it's those glasses turn into full bottles, but then everybody finds that excuse because they don't want to be said addict. So then people start getting like us, and you said something very important earlier, which really hit home for me. Is it was what I call it the darkness. You said hell,
Mm-hmm.
and then people get lost in that moment, and they're like, "What's happening to me?"
Hmm.
And that's where eventually you find out that said problem you have,
Yeah,
whether it's alcohol or uh, opiates, whatever the case is. And I don't know where I was really going with that conversation, but I just know that, man, this place right here is a safe haven for those said people. And, I can sit here and say, to this day, I sat here many a times with you,
Mm-hmm.
and we just talked.
Yeah,
And
we just talked.
we just talked. And, I'm very grateful.
Talked the hell out of you, didn't we?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't know if you can talk the hell up out of Chase, dude.
No. I think
See, I don't
Dr.
know
Ed's like,
everything.
Dr. Ed's like, all right, time. We'll see you next time. See you later.
It's time to go,
Your
Chase.
10 minutes is up right
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I just think too, it's, man, people, we lose our way quickly or quicker than we think we can. People,
Lose our way.
yeah, yeah. And like, a lot of people think that they can't find their way back. I know I was one of those. So,
Early on, I always thought that I could stop using pills when I wanted to.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I was confident with that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the fact that I might become an addict.
Yeah.
That wasn't even part of the mindset.
The mindset
Yeah.
of it.
But one day I woke up and I said, dang, I am an addict.
Yeah.
I cannot stop.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
I don't know of anything better than this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had two wonderful sons. I still have them. And a wife and a good career, nice place to live, nice cars. And I decided to give all that up
Yeah.
just for a pink speckled pill or a blue speckled pill or a green speckled pill. Y'all remember those?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And it's crazy to think about that. Now it is, but it's very much. I remember Dr. Ed busting down Oxycontins or chopping up lines of fentanyl. And it's like, I'm not kidding you, like praying to God, saying thank you for letting me find drugs today,
That made
because
me.
I'm not going to
I
be
know
sick.
that feeling.
And it's so alien to me now to even like no, but I can snap myself back, and I'm like, Lord, thank you. I was so dope sick. Thank you for letting me get high today. I promise that was a prayer I prayed.
Yeah.
Well, I never prayed it, but I thought it.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
just crazy to me. But it's just how it consumes you and it grabs you so deeply. It was my God. It was my wife. It was my counselor. It was all those things I would run to this line, this white line or this blue line to do. And it was my answer for everything until it didn't answer anything.
Yeah, yeah. That's the last step when it stops answering,
Yeah.
starts taking from you.
Yeah. And it does. But, no, and two, there's a point that I remember getting out of Bradford one time. I don't know if you know this, Dr. Ed. I've been to rehab a few times.
I heard that, but I wasn't sure.
Had a few goes, and
Rumor has it.
I did the Tordell rehab, if you know what I mean. So
You gotta find the good ones.
yeah, you got to find the good one. I found a great one here, but getting out, and I still, after being clean and learning all that stuff, after the fourth or fifth time I've been to a rehab, I was like, I'm never going to stop this. I'm just going to have to learn how to manage to do how much drugs can I do a day so I don't get dope sick and just manage this the rest of my life. That's honestly was my thought after coming out of rehab. I'm like, I'm not going to stop, and I was such a powerless, hopeless, I don't even know if to say dark feeling. It was just kind of like I accepted it. I'm like, oh, this is me, but that's a lie. I just I didn't have it figured out yet. Not that I have it figured out now. I'm not saying
Well,
that.
Satan does everything he can to help us not figure this thing out.
Yeah, and I'm thankful to really just have. I'm thankful for places like the Foundry, and particularly the Foundry itself, and people like you, Dr. Ed, Dr. Ed has literally devoted his life to people like me and people like Chase and the
And people like me.
and people like Dr. Ed and the many other men that are at this facility are co-workers and everything. His life to help people recover from said addiction or whatever their DOC is.
Too
And
many people are
yeah,
dying, so
yeah, absolutely.
somebody's got to do something, right?
Absolutely. And I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, first of all, I'll say this on everything. People can give their money, people can give us gifts, but when somebody gives their time to sit down with us, that's something we never get back. And I say thank you, thank you, thank you from Rehab Revelations, Chase and myself personally for sitting down with us and, talking about these things. Because I know some of them are uncomfortable, but we really just want to bring awareness to this and everything. So trying to be respectful of our next person coming on and everything in time and everything. But is there anything you want to close us up with? Anything you want to say, Dr.
No,
Ed?
no. Well, I'll just say, I wondered in the beginning when you guys started this process that you're doing now, what kind of success you would have, and I didn't have a judgment. I just wondered.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I started watching them from time to time, your podcast. And on some of those, I just actually had chill bumps because I saw very clearly what you guys were doing and how it has the potential to impact people's lives and maybe serve as a quote ministry that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all's dedication
Well,
to doing what you're doing and being willing to give back and realizing that there's help.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The idea started flowing right here.
Yeah.
I would sit right here and we'd talk, like I said a minute ago.
Yeah.
We'd just sit here and talk.
Yeah.
I'd tell you ideas. And part of the ideas was this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And being committed and being consistently
And
doing it.
you always
Hey,
are
this is our 50th. This is our 50th interview right here with
Yeah.
Dr. Ed. Our
Yeah.
50th person we've had on. Thank to everybody before, but this is our 50th interview we've done, or
Yep.
podcast, or converse, whatever you want to call it, whatever
it's-
semantics you want to
It's
use.
kind of cool. It just kind of hit me too. Like, I mean, I know we were just talking about, like, us talking about this right here, but like, it did. Like, a lot of the ideas, a lot of the, I guess, want to started right here.
Yeah,
It's kind of cool sitting right here. I can feel it. It's weird.
it's cool, dude.
Yeah,
Still got your mark on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
got you.
Still stinks a little bit from me, but
I got you.
I remember your
very heavy.
Yeah.
What were you saying there?
I remember you talking about it, and I could see an earnestness in your heart and mind about making sure this happens, and you did. Y'all did.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Yeah. Addicts and alcoholics who are trying to get help.
Yeah.
You certainly can benefit from just listening to people talk about addiction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dr. Ed. We love
Thank
you,
you.
man.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Love you too.
Hey, show Dr. Ed some love, guys. Thank y'all for watching. We appreciate y'all.